Good luck, Pecco.
Thank you. Thank you. Ciao. Ciao. I feel good because the feeling with our bike is incredible right now.
Pecco Bagnaia takes the victory. It has been a Spielberg sprint stunner from the factory Ducati staff.
We can do everything we want.
Pecco Bagnaia wins by a mile.
We have 62 points of advantage.
A masterclass, an exhibition from the world champion.
We can be very satisfied with the work we are doing.
Pecco Bagnaia looks unstoppable. It looks like he's going to be easily defending the World Championship. He's probably riding in the best form of his career. It looks impossible for anybody to beat Pecco at the World Championship this year. But you should never take anything for granted. The body now stop
MotoGP is about to get manic and dramatic with 10 races coming your way in just 13 weekends. The man of the moment in MotoGP, the world champion, Pecco Bagnaia, goes from pole. It's full throttle. It's lights out. And we are racing in Catalonia. It's another superb launch from number one, Pecco Bagnaia. Bagnaia's been clipped. There's going to be a red flag. There has to be a red flag.
Crashing in front of the entire field, it does not get any worse than that. It's the worst case scenario, a situation that every rider must have sleepless nights about. It's a nightmare.
Pecco Bagnaia has been reported conscious from the scene. As the ambulance then makes its way back to the medical centre.
I did a perfect start, a perfect corner one. I lost already the rear on the corner one. And when I entered corner two, I just did maybe the biggest eyesight in my life. It was quite scary when I saw that I was in the middle of the track and I saw many riders come to me. I feel perfectly when Brad crossed my legs, and the pain there was quite tough. It was impossible to get out of the line, get out of the track.
We know he's conscious, but we're still waiting to know how serious his injuries are.
Possiamo dire che è meno grave del previsto? Speriamo.
63.
Hola. Sí. ¿Qué tal?
How are you, Pecco?
No, quella no. Tengo el documento.
He tenido mucha suerte hoy. Tengo que dar las gracias.
¿Sí?
Sí. Suerte hay che tenere. Faremo di tutto per essere a Misano a provare a far bene.
In bocca al lupo, forza.
Crepi il lupo. Ciao.
Ciao, Pecco.
The day after Barcelona, I woke up and I was destroyed completely. I couldn't even move from the bed. The pain that I was feeling was horrible. I wasn't able to move the leg. And the recovery was quite difficult, quite speedy. We had just 3 days to be prepared for for the weekend in Misano.
He can't afford to be sitting at home watching Misano this weekend. He has to be there. Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin look really, really strong. So if he can be there, he has to be there.
Grazie, good luck. Grazie mille, Pecco. Grazie.
La macchina la guido, ti va bene.
Guidiamo la moto.
Andiamo alla moto.
Noi lo zaino.
Preferisci...
Tanto dobbiamo dare il GP1.
Sì. Preferisci portarla a te?
Cosa?
Per la condizione?
No. Vai.
Ok.
A me?
What did they say?
No, fit.
But are you fit to race?
Mentally, yes. No, I'm joking, please. Sono fit, sono fit.
Tutto? Sì. Tutto bene?
Abbastanza.
Sì?
Sì, sì, abbastanza bene.
Dove ti ha preso?
Qua.
Sì.
Ah, giusto il ginocchio.
Sì, sì, sì. È un po', guarda,
Un po' gonfio?
un po' di...
Ah, Dio.
Divento tutto qua.
Ma che fortuna, eh?
Non è bellissimo. Però è andata bene. Deve andare sicuramente molto peggio.
Sì. Bene, bene.
Vediamo. Vediamo. Non andare troppo forte.
No, ti seguo a te.
Sicuramente un weekend dove è importante prendere punti e fare il massimo che si può. Se si può ottenere qualcosa di più, ben venga, però non deve essere qualcosa forzato.
Absolutely fantastic to see the 26-year-old Italian, the reigning world champion Pecco Bagnaia. This seemed like an unthinkable scenario because he was involved in that horrendous, scary incident. Bagnaia then on the front row of the grid. He goes from third. Marco Bezzecchi looking for home success from the front row. From pole, it's the Martinator, Jorge Martin. The green flag clearing at the back. We are going San Marino. It's a superb launch from that 10th MotoGP pole from Jorge Martin. He leads the way. Pedrosa has a moment there on the rear as he squeezed the power on towards turn 2. Bezzecchi pinches the inside line, going through turn 8.
L'ultima curva, ragazzi.
Martin is the Misano maestro in MotoGP. Jorge Martin then wins to close the gap to Pecco Bagnaia in the World Championship. Marco Bezzecchi, second place for him. Bagnaia then does hold on for an incredible podium, one of the toughest podiums of his Grand Prix career. What a ride. What a rider. He hasn't even got the strength, he hasn't got the energy, has he, to even try and think about getting off that bike at the moment. That was 27 laps that really, really tested Pecco Bagnaia, both physically and mentally.
I was destroyed completely after the race, but I was very happy. I lost just 14 points out of 37, so it was really impressive.
Vedi, sentivo il tuo motore da vicino.
demasiado fácil para él.
I think Misano is the first time where you really get the sense of how ruthless Jorge Martin is and just how much he wants to win this year's World Championship. Jorge is taking a lot of confidence from that. I can do this. I can fight for this year's World Championship.
I am the best at the moment. I am the strongest. I am the fastest. I feel like I can win a lot of races, but I don't feel still that I am the favorite on the title. I just want to keep growing, to keep winning races.
No tengo la presión de ganar el título porque esa presión está en los pilotos de fábrica y yo simplemente pensaré a ganar carreras.
Has been a Jorge Martin masterclass. He has the honour, he's the history maker, the first ever MotoGP winner on Indian soil here at the Bud International Circuit. Martin takes it, 1.4 seconds clear of Pecco Bagnaia. We are Grand Prix racing here in MotoGP. Martin does make the dream start again. Bagnaia slots on the inside of Bezzecchi, the pole man as well. Oh, he's gone full in there. They're both going to run wide, aren't they? You look at the turning of Bagnaia through turn 8 and 9. He's on the inside here, and he's picked up Jorge Martin. That was beautifully done by the world champion. Oh, can you believe it? And this has completely changed the complexion of this year's MotoGP World Championship. Can you believe it? Bagnaia has dropped the ball yet again. How many times have we seen this from the reigning world champion? Martin goes super tight defensive in the final corner. A prize second place in terms of world championship. 7 races to go. And it's getting pretty spicy here, isn't it, in India? 13 points the gap there now between Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin after Bagnaia drops the ball yet again and drops 20 points in the gravel trap here.
At the start of the season, Pecco was on form. And now it looks like his confidence has taken a bit of a hit.
Our strongest point was always the braking. Right now is our weak point because I can't stop the bike. My rear is shaking a lot and we are not understanding honestly why. Si no solucionamos esto, no, será muy difícil.
Si no hacemos una cagada, está la otra.
Jorge has been doing to Pecco what Pecco has been doing to Fabio in previous years, you know, working down that points gap, and it must be not a nice feeling for Pecco.
Jorge in this moment is riding so well. It's very smooth and is working well with his team, maybe better than us.
Prima Pramac have sensed the chance to kind of rub the nose in it of the factory team. You know, they've sensed that they are potentially creating history. No independent team has ever won the championship.
If somebody at the beginning of the season told me that the team are able to fighting for the title at the end of the season, I can't believe.
Ducati was the first manufacturer to offer their chosen satellite team, Prima Pramac Racing, the very same level of machinery as they themselves use. But they all must have known that what we're seeing in 2023 was possible. A satellite team challenging their manufacturer for the World Championship.
We had 8 riders with all the same possibility to fight for top positions. This is the strategy from Ducati, and from the start I accept it.
It's not easy for sure, you know, it's like a brother fight at the end.
The factory team is always the team that people expect to be fighting for championship win, but Jorge has exactly the same chance.
Cuando tú ganas, ¿sientes también el cariño de Chabat y de la línea o no? ¿De la fábrica?
Sí, sí.
siento mucho cariño.
Y ponemos un paréntesis, cara de ironía, ¿no?
Yo ya soy pobre.
Gracias, tío, suerte.
They want a Ducati winning. But maybe I think they will prefer a little bit more, you know, Pecco because he's on the factory bike.
He has exactly the same material, he has exactly the same development, exactly in the same time. So they are exactly at the same technical level.
Ducati clearly seem to have learnt from past mistakes. They've two riders fighting for the World Championship in the final part of the season, and if Marco Bezzecchi hadn't been unlucky, it could have easily been 3. One of the Mooney VR46 riders down as well. Bezzecchi's been caught up in all that melee. Oh, there's contact. There is big contact on the first lap.
Down there.
Marco Bezzecchi is down.
We saw nothing, it's just got hit by 4 or 5 bikes. Purtroppo ho preso una bella botta alla mano, anche alla gamba e alla schiena. Mi dispiace perché in Austria Martin, qui i bastianini, e alla fine io sono sempre in mezzo, mi faccio sempre male. Peccato. Was a little bit of bad luck. It's something that can happen in the first corners.
Marco Bezzecchi's going backwards, and Marini has tangled.
I'm in first row. If I'm not safe in first row, where I have to start? I crashed while I was training. I already broke my shoulder once, so I immediately understood that was broken. I went under surgery and I suffered the most because the surgery was still very fresh.
A broken collarbone is never good. But just before a triple header, you know, where you have to have long haul flight after long haul flight, race after race, no time to recover.
Everyone was saying to me that probably Indonesia was impossible, but inside myself I knew that I could do it. I had to come back very quick.
He arrives in the paddock on the first day of practice. You know, he passed the fitness test, and an hour later he goes out on circuit. But there's no question that this injury is going to be the defining moment of Marco's season.
I started to feel some pain, especially in this part, but also on my back, quindi dolore e fastidio. Per resistenza fisica sto anche bene, ma per sopperire a questo problema devo guidare diversamente, ma la piega più grossa è il male.
You have to be at your 100% best to be competitive in MotoGP. 99.99% just does not cut it.
Sto provando per le gambe e anche per l'altro braccio. Sì, perché sempre ricordate al weekend viene più Inside myself, I knew that if I had the possibility to try to stay close to the top guys, maybe when the shoulder was a little bit better, I could come back to fight. But the pain was difficult to manage. At the end, Jorge and Pecco, they were really quick all the season. I was missing something and I lost a lot of ground and yeah, wasn't possible to arrive to the end. I hope that next year I can be again in this kind of position with the cameras breaking the balls every time. But at the end it's positive, so I hope.
Good morning and welcome back to a scorching and sizzling hot Indonesia.
Calor. Tú llegas aquí pensando, me puedo poner líder.
Sí, la verdad que es un objetivo que tengo ahí en la mente, ¿no? Porque es un sueño, ¿no? El poder liderar MotoGP y lo tengo tan cerca.
I know perfectly the situation. He has nothing to lose right now, so he's just pushing.
Pecco Bagnaia, the world champion, without a win in the last 4 rounds, he did not make it out of a tricky Q1. Starts from a lowly 13th place on the grid. His worst qualifying in 19 Grand Prix. Jorge Martin, he goes from 6, hoping to continue this golden streak in the Tissot Sprint. We are racing in the sprint here.
Martin didn't make the big progress we thought from the second row, nor did Bagnaia, who's there up the inside of his former teammate. He's still in the mid-pack in 12th. Quartararo under pressure again, this time from Jorge Martin.
Martin does sneak on the inside. Martin was coming through, whatever, wasn't he? And there is sprint magic for Martin in Mandalika. He does make it 4 sprint wins in a row. And more importantly, more significantly, he seizes the lead in the MotoGP World Championship in 2023. Pecco Bagnaia, who's had a shocking Saturday here in Indonesia. He loses the World Championship lead for the first time since the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez. He is now the chaser. He is now the pursuer, isn't he? 7 points behind Jorge Martin.
La primera vez. 7, 8 puntos. 7 puntos. Mañana es larga,
Mañana tenemos que usar. Hidratarse. It's a dream, no? To be leading in MotoGP World Championship. So, till the moment I was the best of the season. En Austria me acuerdo que me pedíais que diese algo picante, pero yo creo que más picante que ser líder no hay nada.
Perdere la leadership del campionato non era qualcosa nei piani sicuramente.
Bagnaia está sintiendo la presión de ser campeón y de estar obligado a revalidar el título y de estar en el equipo fábrica. Martin no tiene nada a perder, tiene esa liberación, no ha sido... è la prima vez che lidera un mondiale.
Sta tutto in lui quanto tempo passa prima che fa una cappella. Appena fa una cappella torna come sempre. What's your feeling tonight? Maybe something.
I don't know how to say in English. I never say bad words in English, but I'm pissed off. Is it correct?
Yeah, I understand. As a French, I understand.
Italiano, come c'è in italiano?
Lui capisce.
Mi girano i coglioni.
Sì, perfetto.
It is a totally different ball game. It's a totally different situation.
How will Jorge manage the pressure of leading the World Championship?
Six wins in the last 7 and looking unstoppable right now. New World Champs leader, Jorge Martinez from Mandalika Maximum. We are racing in MotoGP. Look at Jorge Martin. Martin from the back of the second row in 6th place. A sensational barnstorming start from the World Championship leader.
Pecco Bagnaia is up 3 places. He's up into 9th place. This has been a world champion's first couple of laps from Pecco Bagnaia, who is staring at the podium positions up ahead of him.
Martin then leads, being hotly pursued by Maverick Vinales.
Martin's down.
Oh no,
top left
Jorge
of screen.
Martin has
Jorge
crashed.
Martin out.
Can you believe this? Jorge Martin has his head in his hands. There is another massive plot twist, another huge pendulum swing in this year's MotoGP World Championship battle.
You only have to see Jorge watching the race from the side of the track. You can feel his pain.
Jorge's trying to process it himself, like, what happened?
Il risorpasso. Ma c'è un margine della Madonna, sai? Tu c'è 2 secondi, sai?
Bagnaia suddenly from 13th on the grid will think, I can win this race.
Well, here comes Bagnaia. He's got the inside. This could be the key race-winning overtake then. He got such better speed. but it's a monumental, a massive victory in Mandalika for Pecco Bagnaia and the defence of his MotoGP World Championship. Cue absolute delirium inside the factory Ducati garage. That was the ride of the world champion. That was the ride of the man who's fighting tooth and nail to keep that #1 plate.
We were deserving this victory. We were needing this victory to have this kind of feeling after Barcelona crash. It was not an easy period, but finally win again is for sure is giving to us a lot of motivation.
Ya estamos manteniendo por directo.
Pasa nada.
I did a really silly mistake. I couldn't believe what was going on. I felt really bad. I was putting a lot of weight on my shoulders.
If he doesn't win the championship this year, he will look back and look at this weekend in Mandalika, 3 seconds clear of Maverick Vinales, looking like he was absolutely cruising.
¿Cómo es la sombra? Vale, te recortas 66, ahora no pasa nada. En la 10 me he ido 1 metro fuera y creo que está sucio. Y cuando entro a la siguiente... Falta nada para...
Inglesa.
Sí. I have to be calm and still 5 races, well 10 races to go, so still a long way. We didn't win the championship yesterday and we didn't lose it today, so...
¿Qué le dices a los que ayer pensaban que el Mundial lo ganaba seguro Martín? ¿Qué crees che dirán hoy? ¿O qué les dices tu?
Che i piloti dovrebbero sapere benissimo come vanno le cose.
Esto gira mucho, ¿no? De un día para otro.
Sempre.
5 days after the crash in Indonesia, Jorge Martin arrives to Australia and pretty much dominates the weekend.
Jorge Martin, the fastest man ever around Phillip Island. That is his 3rd pole in the last 5 Grand Prix.
But Phillip Island isn't a usual circuit. With those over 200km/h corners on throttle, the rear tyre gets absolutely tortured. So, tyre choice and tyre management are crucial.
So what do you think? Speaking, I think it's a little bit risky to go with talking more. I think we have the base in the second. The best one is very bad.
Sai lasciamo fare le piste. E va quello che penso, quello che tu pensi io ti appoggio.
All riders have gone for the medium rear tyre with 3 exceptions. They are Pol Espargaro, Marco Bezzecchi and the poleman Jorge Martin, who have gone for the soft rear tyre.
When you're fighting with a championship, the first thing you do is you just do the exact same thing as your other championship rivals. But Jorge Martin is not just fast. You see a big risk take. I mean, that is an incredible gamble.
Lights out, and we are racing here in Phillip Island, and Martin does make the dream start from pole position. Martin, he's 2 seconds clear of Binder.
Nonostante il gap, lui sta continuando a... ma certo, deve far così. È l'unica possibilità.
He's managing that soft rear tyre quite brilliantly at the moment. It's going to have to drop off a cliff, isn't it, for him to lose that 3.4 second gap.
2 o 3 giri, vediamo come va il passo. Sono 3 secondi e mezzo, fai 3 decimi a giro.
This could be very much game on. Is there late drama building here in Phillip Island? Jorge Martin lost 0.4 of a second to Digia on that lap 21. The gap down to 2.4 seconds.
Viste?
Martin sono 60 km che quando
lascia un 5-6 giri.
Lui lascia 3-4 decimi all'ultima curva.
Sì.
He's going to feel like some of the longest 3.5 laps of Jorge Martin's life. It looks like he's just nursing that soft rear tyre towards the finish line here.
Però dobbiamo contare sul nostro compagno di squadra, ragazzi.
Zarco, he's never had a MotoGP victory. He may well never get a better chance than this one. Now he's going through on the inside of Binder. He picks up the South African.
Esatto.
Jorge Martin, he's a passenger, he's a sitting duck. Johan Zarco has waited 120 Grand Prix, he surely has to go for it. He does on the inside, Martin might even miss the podium. Bagnaia could be taking the victory. Jorge Martin was, 8 corners away from a brilliant victory.
Now.
He's not even a finish on the podium, that soft rear tyre has destroyed itself. An incredible Australian Grand Prix. What a race. Pecco Bagnaia is second, increases World Championship lead.
When I saw that Jorge was starting with the soft, I was saying to myself, okay, let's be calm, because I think in the last laps you will start to struggle. So when I was seeing that the guys in front of me were going away, I was taking care about the tires, and finally, in the last lap I finished second, beating Jorge, and there was a moment where he was very strong, but being in front of him there was great.
Jorge Martin, who led for 26 laps and 4 corners, and he had destroyed that soft rear tyre.
Oltre 5 dopo lì, a un certo punto ce l'avevo.
Sabíate el motor cuando salías de la última.
Un G. Dato perché ho fatto tutto il lavoro per lui.
Jorge was crucified. He got so much criticism. Some people have said that it was cockiness, overconfidence on the part of Jorge Martin. It's such a fine line, isn't it, between hero and zero? I mean, he was 8 corners away from pulling off the victory.
It was not the right choice, but now it's really easy to say it. You know, before the race, nobody was convinced, and you know, I tried for that one. As you see, it wasn't the right choice, but.
Perché andare in griglia, no? Mi hanno detto Jorge la so.
Yeah, cazzo ne so.
Io.
Ok. Bien.
Bro. Bro, pues no sé,
Esta mañana te ibas con la familia también. Iba 29-2. 29-2 hacías esta
Ya, pero
mañana.
nueva, ¿eh?
¿Y qué?
No, yo qué sé.
Y yo no iba a 30.
Ya. Qué cagada.
Te ibas solo.
Ya, bueno, ahora.
No pasa nada.
El siguiente.
Nada.
Me da rabia porque era el más fuerte otra vez este finde, pero bueno, hemos echado a perder otra oportunidad. Si no me hubiese caído en Indonesia y hubiese ganado hoy, estaría más 18 líder, pero no es así que hay que adaptarse a la situación.
Crashing out of the race in Indonesia, and then wrong tyre choice just in Australia would be very hard to swallow, and it's especially hard when it's your fault. You know, as a rider, you beat yourself up for days, don't sleep well, difficult to forgive yourself.
And it's now a real big test of his mental strength, you know. How can he recover?
Tengo que intentar ganar. O sea, no puedo ponerme a pensar, tengo que recuperarle puntos, como sea. No puedo estar pensando en tal, ¿sabes? No puedo guardar, tengo que ir a fondo.
It's going to be a 5th consecutive TSO sprint win for Jorge Martin.
When the sprint format was first announced, there was one name that immediately everybody was talking about, who could potentially be the strongest and who could be the big benefactor of the sprints, and it was Jorge Martin.
Jorge Martin wins here in Le Mans. It's been great in Germany for the Martinator. He's our sprint winner here, but your TSO sprint winner in San Marino. The first ever MotoGP winner on Indian soil. There is joy in Japan for the Martinator.
He's an excellent qualifier. He starts like a rocket ship, and he's a rider that loves to go always full gas.
He just naturally got the speed. And in the sprint, like qualifying, you don't have to worry about tyre management.
There is nobody that has the outright blistering speed that Jorge does.
There is sprint magic for Martin in Mandalika. He does make it 4 sprint wins in a row. It's a high five for Jorge Martin. He wins the sprint here in Buriram.
Está nervioso. Sí, ya perfecto. Solo salir de aquí con él ya después. Están escuchando todo.
Looks like being another titanic tussle in this MotoGP World Championship. It's a brilliant launch from the middle of that front row by Luca Marini. He's going to get the drop on Jorge Martin, though Martin comes around the outside through the first corner.
Bagnaia through on Marc Marquez.
Oh, that's going to be so close. He's going to squeeze Martin out.
How can he stop that? No, he doesn't.
No, he's not.
Binder. To the back of Martin, and Pecco's eyes are going to light up with that one.
We have got 1 lap and 2 corners remaining here in what has been another Buriram thriller. Around the outside, here comes Pecco Bagnaia. Look at this by the world champion. Around the outside of both Martin and Binder. Astonishing bravery and skill there by the world champion. Who is going to win this epic, thrilling last lap showdown here? It looks like it's going to be Martin, but here comes Binder. Martin goes super defensive. How tight is Jorge Martin going to go in this final corner? Will Binder get him on the comeback? Martin completes the dream treble in Thailand in one of the best MotoGP races we've seen in many a long time. After the crushing disappointments of Mandalika, after the crushing disappointments of Phillip Island last weekend, what a way to bounce back for Jorge Martin.
Thailand was an amazing key point in the championship because I beat him on the track. 1 lap to go, we were together into the last corner, and then I was able to beat him.
Guardiamo avanti, cosa è possibile? Bravo, è facile una gara della Madonna, bravissimo.
¡Vamos! Tío, la mejor gara de mi vida, tío. Madonna, ma la migliore che si è vista negli ultimi 10 anni. All'ultimo metro. Bravo, alla fine avevo questo di più di loro. Questo, per l'ultimo giro. L'ultimo giro ho spinto come un animale.
Bravo.
Sono andato un po' via o no?
Un po', 4 volte.
Dietro, no. La verdad sí mola. O sea, mola más ganar así, lo que pasa es que es más difícil.
Es como un partido de fútbol.
Y al último minuto.
Mola ganar 5-0, pero claro, en el último minuto.
Mejor ir sobrado, ¿sabes? It has been quite complicated to manage the feelings and emotions. I wasn't enjoying a lot racing at that point of the season because I felt a lot of pressure that I put on myself. Nobody put that pressure, but I felt I had to win. I was too obsessed with every session, with every day of practices.
He has to be nervous, first time doing anything this big, with all that pressure on your shoulders and expectation from the team.
It was a moment where I felt I had to recover from this. Devo disconnettare, troppo pensieri.
Non dormo più da una settimana.
Si vede. Bravo,
grande Dio, grazie
Bravo. Será más yo contra Jorge.
Martin gets on the inside of Bagnaia. Oh, they touch.
Quizá pueda haber un otro head to head.
The two tied rivals, elbow to elbow.
Pecco will be nervous.
He needs to be more focused on his job.
They should relax a little bit. A mí no me intimida.
Se ha abierto esto.